Hello friends, today has been such a good day and I feel like I'm about to ruin it with this video challenge. I had my tattoo consultation today, and so we are finally moving forward with my tattoo cover-up, with my tattoo that's like on my clavicle that I never show anyone because I hate it so much. I got it when I was 18, mistakes were made. In reality, it was just because I didn't know the artist that well. If we're being really honest, I feel like he took advantage of me, but it is what it is. I got the tattoo. I've been wanting to cover it up for like the last 10 years. And 2 years ago, when I got my ghost tattoo, I found the artist that I wanted to do it. And we kind of discussed it when I got this tattoo. But at that time, I was still very undecided about what exactly I wanted to do. And then I came across this picture and I knew that this is exactly everything that I ever wanted. And so we discussed doing something very similar to this. Obviously, it's not gonna look exactly like that. Also, I told her to be as creative as she wanted within like certain parameters of what I wanted, because I really like her creativity. She did an amazing job mocking up the ghost just by me like telling her what I was thinking of. I just really trust her. She makes me feel so comfortable and I'm very excited to get started. Also, everyone I interacted with today was just like super nice and I was having a really good day, and then I remembered that I'm going to challenge myself this week to stay off my phone and stay off social media. But if I'm honest with you, I don't really know why this would ruin my week. I think it could only make it better. That being said, I do communicate a lot with my friends and family via Instagram, so that's gonna be interesting. They're gonna really have to text me if they want something. I'm sure you've seen some type of video like this over the last few years where people have been putting away social media, putting away their phones and trying to read instead or be productive. I've done two similar challenges. It's not exactly like me reading the same amount of hours that I'm on my phone, but it was reading an hour before bed every night to see if I could like build that habit. And then I did one where I was trading screen time for being productive, so it wasn't always about reading. This time I really wanted to be about reading because, and I talked about this in my last video, and I think so many of us are kind of talking about this and being pretty honest about the fact that our attention spans suck. And I started to notice more recently, especially because I have a horrible time sleeping. I am the worst sleeper. I have terrible insomnia. I am going to a doctor to figure this out. My sleep has been the worst that it has probably ever been. I may be misremembering and being very dramatic right now, but I have such bad brain fog from not being able to sleep, and I'm getting on average like 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night at this point because my sleep is so bad. And I've been trying so hard to like get into a really good routine. Partly it's me just like giving up, and partly it's because of just how my schedule is and how my life is. And it's been hard to like get into the habits that I really want to get into. Mornings are especially hard for me with getting up. And so I feel like a part of this is just how much time I spend on social media. I didn't really realize how bad it was until more recently when I was looking at my screen time and like looking at where all of my hours with my screen time go. It mainly goes to social media. Like 2 hours is a lot on social media. 5 is crazy. And I also know the mentality of like, I'm paying for it, so I should be using it, right? But I have noticed like really intense brain fog. I can barely even pay attention to my audiobooks. Y'all know how much I love my audiobooks. And I obviously know that a week is not enough to build a habit, but I'm hoping it's the momentum of doing this challenge. But I did want to put a little twist on this to make it kind of fun for myself and a little bit unknown. So for this challenge, I am going to be trading my screen time for reading. So I will be reading a certain amount of hours every day for the next 5 days. Instead of me choosing it, I left it up to you to choose it. So I went to Instagram and I posted pictures that looked a little something like this. So this one is for today, and the colors actually represented the hours. So you unknowingly were choosing how many hours a day I will be reading. Each picture has different colors and different hours attached to them. So for day one of this challenge, we have 2 hours, 3 hours, or 4 hours that you could have voted on, and y'all hate me. So green was the winner, which means that I have to read for 4 hours tomorrow. The only other rule that I've given myself for this challenge is my hours do have to roll over to the next day if I did not accomplish reading for the full 4 hours or however many hours that you voted on. So I have the potential of having to read a lot this week. Again, I did it to myself. It's day one of the challenge. It's Wednesday. I'm on my lunch break. It's actually my late day. And I thought that I would get on earlier this morning and just update you about what my plan was for today. But then my plan got derailed because I didn't really sleep well last night. Surprise, surprise. So I just laid in bed for a while, but part of my laying in bed was me reading. And I am reading The Night and the Moth. This was something, I don't really know why I started it. I don't remember what compelled me to start this because I did not like One Dark Window. I actually DNF'd it, really didn't like the writing, didn't like the magic system. It felt very convoluted to me. So The Night and the Moth was kind of tentatively something that I thought maybe I will read it someday, but I didn't think that I would get to it anytime soon. It ended up being an ALC last month from Libro FM because again, I tentatively thought that I would try Rachel Gillig again, especially because this is like something I'm into because there's like knights and seers who are nun-like in ways. They seem like nuns because they worship and serve this goddess. And so I'm like, yeah, this is my vibe. I like stuff like this. And I don't know what compelled me to start it, but I did, and I'm actually really liking it. I'm really liking it. It is slow, okay? It is a slow burn book, and I don't know if that's gonna pay off. I really don't, but I'm really enjoying it. Vibes are giving me very much Old England Knights of the Round Table, which isn't always my favorite, but I do like that era. I tend to love video games that are like that. I tend to enjoy fantasy that seems to be set in that era. And so I think that's what has always drawn me to this book in general, is I knew that I was gonna have that feeling. But again, I was a little apprehensive about the writing and the magic system. So far, I feel like this is so straightforward. The magic system is surrounding these gods and the fact that Sybil, our main character, is a diviner, and so she divines for this god, and essentially the king comes to get a reading. I don't really remember what they call it, but he comes to get his reading to see what his future is going to be like, and one after the other, everything that Sybil sees is bad. It's a bad omen. But alongside the king is this mysterious knight who she is very intrigued by, because this knight is not drawn in by the religions, the various religions and the various gods that exist in this world, and she calls him a heretic at one point. But their banter is really funny to me. Like the way that they go back and forth, they are so funny. This is also a cast of fairly mature characters. Now the king is a younger king. That's something that's kind of harped on a lot because people don't believe in him since he is so young. But the knight and Sybil, while we don't have distinct ages for them, it's alluded to that they're a bit older. They're a bit more mature. Like I said, this is very straightforward. I think that a lot of people will find this boring because there isn't a lot of action happening. It doesn't follow a lot of the same, to me, narrative structures and plot structure as traditional fantasy romance has been the last couple of years. But I don't know, I love it. I really like the writing just generally, but I like the character dynamics in the writing of these characters bantering. There's also just side things that I don't really want to give away at this point because I didn't know they existed in the book, and it's been such a pleasure having this thing in the book. It's just so funny, but it is a slow burn, and I do hope that the pacing pays off for me. But so far, I'm just enjoying being in it. I'm just really enjoying being in it. So this morning I ended up turning on the timer, and I think I read for like 59 minutes and a few seconds, so just shy of an hour. And that's really all I've read today. I haven't had a lot of time at work to read. However, because I only read an hour and I need to read 3 more hours, otherwise it carries on to tomorrow, which might be better for me because I will have more time after work to read for sure. If I'm good and I get home from work today and just decide to get ready for bed and get in bed and read, then I could actually hit the 4 hours potentially. But we're not off to the best start. Although I did do something this morning that took up a little bit of my time, but I thought that it would be for the best ultimately. So I went in and I created a focus for myself on my phone called Productivity Princess. And I basically am only allowing text messages from certain people, and all of my apps are silenced. I don't actually have notifications for any of my apps except for YouTube, so it's not like that big of a problem for me. But the thing I'm trying to break is that anytime I see a notification on my phone, I immediately get sucked into my phone. Usually I can ignore my phone. I do find myself when I get bored or unsure what to do with my hands, I'll just like scroll through my phone mindlessly. So I'm trying to break that habit. But mainly my big issue is when I see a notification come into my phone, then I immediately get sucked into my phone and I'm on 17 different apps. And next thing you know, you blink and it's been 3 hours. And I'm like, how did we get here? Nope. Goose's new thing is scratching my chair. So yeah, I'm not off to the best start, but I did create that productivity princess focus for my phone. I've limited my time on social media because I knew that I wasn't just gonna not be on social media. Like, going cold turkey has never worked for me in any way, shape, or form. Hey, Goose. So I'm allowing myself 2 hours a day on social media. And so far, I actually have not hit my 2 hours. So I definitely haven't been on the phone for 2 hours. The real test is gonna be after work. That's gonna be the real test. Hello, happy Thursday. It's day 2 of the challenge. It's day 2 of the challenge. I will tell you already, I failed. I failed last night, but I did read 3 hours yesterday and I needed to read a total of 4. So I had an hour of rollover, and this morning I did read an hour. So I read for 30 minutes as I was getting ready for work. And then I read another 40 minutes like on my way to work, and then setting up at work and just having downtime before we opened. So in theory, I have a little bit of a clean slate. It's 11:30 right now. I'm taking a 15-minute break because I have to go pick up my glasses from the lens crafters. I'm so excited, but I'm also a little bit nervous because a lot of times I'll get new glasses and then it takes me a while to get used to them. So hopefully that's not the case for these ones. However, we need to figure out how much I'm actually reading today, and I fear that I peaked, and I already know. So this little photo of baby Fitzy sleeping was the photo that I posted, and Rust, the color Rust, won the poll, which means that I am reading another 4 hours today. I do feel like, because today's not my late day, on Wednesdays, I am 12 to 9 p.m. at work, and I just don't get in a lot of reading in general. Like, even in the morning, I always feel like I'm gonna get in a lot of reading, and I don't. But today, because I get off at 6, I tend to get in a lot more reading, actually throughout my workday and after work. So here's hoping. Also, because I have 4 hours, I will 100% be finishing my book today, The Night and the Moth, because I only have like a little over 3 hours left of the book. Still really enjoying it. I like where this adventure is going. I like where the story is going. Really love our main characters still. I really enjoy them. I like their banter. And I feel like this is a story that you would like if you like T. Kingfisher. Not fully her vibe and like her silliness, but I do feel like the adventure and the banter between the characters, it's giving me a little bit of T. Kingfisher vibes, although I think T. Kingfisher is a bit more silly, and I think that her stories are a bit more silly. Also, my phone has been locked down. I'm still in productivity princess mode, and I haven't been on my phone as much as normal, but I'm still finding myself reaching for it. So like I said, it's only day 2. I figure that in a week, I'm not gonna be cured of my phone addiction. And I'm obviously thinking about it all the time, like not picking up my phone. So hopefully putting in this conscious effort to not pick up my phone will continue. But who knows? Today, I've just been wanting to pick it up all day. Hello friends, I'm sorry if you can hear the AC in the background. It is literally the loudest AC that I've ever had in any place that I've lived. But today it was a super hot day. It started out really gloomy and it rained the other day, like there was a thunderstorm. And so I thought it was gonna be another cool day. I was mistaken. I wore a sweater earlier in the day and then I was like, I need to change. So I came home for lunch, and after I got my glasses, I got my new glasses. I actually really like them. Anyway, I came home and I changed. But glasses wise, I like these. They're very similar to my other glasses that I had, and maybe some of you won't even be able to tell the difference, but the shape is different on these, and I think it's a little more flattering than the round ones on me, although I love the round ones. Love them. This shape I feel flatters my face a little bit more. I kind of go for this shape. Also, I found out, the guy that was helping me out was like, yeah, bring in your old glasses that you like. You can get some new lenses in there. And I was like, absolutely, absolutely. This is the best day. I don't know exactly where I put those glasses at this moment in time. Otherwise I would show you, but I can show you a picture. It's these glasses. It's pretty much what I was wearing when I started out YouTube. I love these glasses so much, and I am a huge fan of brown glasses on me. And I really was looking for a brown pair of glasses, very similar to this one. I looked at the brand that I originally got these, and unfortunately they didn't really have anything that was remotely similar to these ones, which was really surprising because I feel like this is a pretty classic style of glasses, but no, they didn't really have what I was looking for. You know what else I did after work? I ended up going to Trader Joe's. I never do that. If you have seen my horror stories, if you've watched the videos where I talk about how much I hate the Trader Joe's experience, because why is the parking lot like that? Why is it like that? And why is everybody so quick and all over the place? No one just goes in one direction and knows what they're doing. It's like no one knows what they're doing in a Trader Joe's, and therefore I get really flustered and then feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And it's almost like there's one person who's just all over the place and we all get flustered, and it's a domino effect. What is that about? What is it about? It's like stepping into a whole other universe when I go into Trader Joe's. But Trader Joe's has really great snacks. And I'm really struggling at this moment with my breakfast intake because I hate breakfast. I don't hate breakfast food. I hate eating in the morning is what I should say. I hate eating in the morning. It's the last thing that I want to do when I wake up. I don't want to make a decision about what I'm going to eat. I also don't really love sweet things in the morning. So that's really difficult for me because it's like oatmeal, easy peasy. No, I don't want that. Yogurt, absolutely not, get it away from me. But I will eat those things at any other time of the day, but like in the morning. So I've been trying to find things that I can stomach eating in the morning because I do wake up hungry. It's not a hunger thing. It's just I have no desire to eat anything in the morning. Nothing sounds good. So I really wanted to go to Trader Joe's and figure out something. And I got these breakfast sandwiches. I still think that was a mistake, but they're very easy. I think what needs to happen for me is I just need to eat earlier in the day. I need to bring like a substantial snack at work and eat that around 10 or 11, because that's when I'm normally like, yeah, okay, I'll eat something. But 7, 8, don't look at me. Don't look at me. I don't want the food. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. I did get in another hour and like 43 minutes of reading. I would show you my stop clock, my stopwatch, the thing that I've been using to measure the time that I've been reading in a day. But silly me, I checked it and then I didn't press stop. And then I went to Trader Joe's and I came home and I changed and I kind of been fucking around, to be honest. And it's now at like 4 hours. So that's not an accurate time. That's a lie. I could have lied to you. So today I have read a little over 3 hours. It's like 6:40 right now. One of those hours was technically for yesterday, to make up for yesterday. So I still have two-ish, a little over 2 hours, I guess, of reading. So I have roughly 2 hours left of reading today. I'm just gonna keep it at a casual 2 because I don't know if the number that I'm telling you, the 1 hour 43, is the most accurate number of how much I read today, simply because I didn't stop the timer correctly. I should just use the Forest app. I don't know why I don't. I have it on my phone, and when I use it, I'm like really into it. I love it. It's a really nice way to measure time. But why don't I use it more often? I don't know. I decided to use the stopwatch. That relies on me remembering to stop it. But I have about an hour left of The Night and the Moth. Still really enjoying it. It's definitely paying off for me in terms of the slow burn. So because I have 2 hours left, I'm definitely going to have to pick something else today, and I'm just not quite sure what I want to read, but we will figure that out when the time comes. Good morning, happy Friday. I'm tired. Although, in the best possible news, I did manage to hit the 4 hours yesterday. I mean, technically it was 5 because I had my carryover hour, if not a little more than an hour. So ultimately I did read a little over 5 hours. So I accomplished my goal for yesterday, which I actually didn't think I was going to, because I'm not gonna lie, I did read while I was like cooking dinner and I was in the groove, and then the Baldur's Gate came out, and You lost me there for a little while, but then I came back around. I think the other reason was because during dinner I did finish The Night and the Moth, and I ended up really, really loving it. It's not a 5-star like I thought that it might have been in the beginning, but it was definitely like a redeeming book for me and Rachel Gillick. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna buy a copy, although I think I might, because I really I love the edition at Barnes & Noble. It's so pretty. And it also just feels like such good quality. So yeah, I may get myself a copy of it. Otherwise, I was taking a little while to figure out what I wanted to read. So I made Jared pick. He picked a Forge Fate and Fire. I don't know. One of these titles. I'll put it on the screen. It was kind of perfect because I have that book on my Kobo. So I ended up reading that before bed. I got a few chapters in before I fell asleep. Despite the fact that I did read for an hour before bed, it was very slow. You know when you're reading and your eyes get droopy, and so it takes you an hour to read just like a sentence on a page? That's what was happening to me. So that is an ebook that I have. I could get the audiobook. I could, but I think I want to get a different audiobook. I'm thinking about Don't Let the Forest In. It just came in for me on Libby. I have the ebook and it is my book club pick for Patreon. So I'm thinking about listening to that one. Although the narrator's not my favorite, so I may reevaluate that. But I just want an audiobook today because at work it's a lot easier to have an audiobook. And I'm going to be reading most of today, which basically means that I'm going into my part of the collection. And I have this list of books that haven't circulated in a really long time. And so I go through and evaluate if they should be on the shelves or not. If you didn't know, I'm a librarian. That wouldn't have made any sense out of context, I realize. So as a matter of fact, I do have quite a bit of downtime today. And I need to utilize it because we are also going bowling tonight. We have this friend group that we kind of try to do stuff with every month, and today is when it landed on. So we're going bowling, and we're going to this really fun bowling alley that none of us have been to before. And I think we're getting dinner right before then. I don't know. I don't get off till 6, so I can't meet up with them until 6:30, but I think they're all meeting up at 6. I don't know. I don't know how long we're gonna be out, and I don't know how much energy I'm gonna have when I get back home, and I have to work tomorrow. So yeah, who knows how much reading I'm gonna get in, and I'm a little fearful to check what y'all voted for, but let's do that. You could have picked 2, 3, or 4 hours. And y'all voted for 4 hours. Consistency queens. So I'm reading 4 hours today. I feel like I could do it. I feel like I have so much downtime at work with weeding. I mean, it's not downtime. What I mean by that is that I'm doing an activity that I can pay attention to an audiobook while I'm doing this thing, and it doesn't impede like me talking to patrons or having meetings or whatever. So honestly, weeding is probably the perfect activity that I could have at work today because it literally requires me to be gone in the stacks, not talking to anyone. I really wanted to do this challenge while working my full-time job. Like, I wanted to do it during the week for the most part because I do find that I reach for my phone, I reach for social media a lot more the days that I'm working than the days that I'm off. And I think a big part of that is like stress levels and feeling burnt out and just wanting to escape. So I don't know what to do with myself and I'll pick up my phone. Doom scrolling sucks. Like, it makes me feel horrible. I already am mentally ill. So on top of that, doom scrolling and just seeing all of the headlines that are happening. But at the same time, I don't want to be ill-informed on things. But my real goal is to only have that like 2 hours a day where I'm allowed to like be on social media and just like get lost in it. Because social media is never going to leave my life. And I don't think I'm gonna ever like stop being on social media in any way, shape, or form. Especially because I love doing content creation. But also I just like social media. I love funny, silly videos. And I like interacting with people on Instagram and TikTok and all of those apps. I like seeing the videos on there. I like interacting with people on there. I love watching YouTube. I love chatting on Discord. These are things that I really enjoy. It's just the amount of time that I'm putting into it doesn't really make sense, especially because sometimes I'm just picking up Instagram and scrolling and there's nothing, I'm not interacting with anything other than just to sit there and scroll. But overall, what this has taught me just in the last couple of days is that I actually don't miss Instagram when I'm not on it 24/7. I'm happy with like the 2 hours, and even yesterday I didn't even reach my 2 hour limit on my phone. So everyone please clap. Please, everyone clap. Which is really cool because I guess in the thick of it, I don't feel that way. I don't feel like I'm good at managing not being on my phone. So that's all to say that maybe this video challenge has been teaching me a lot. Maybe I'm not as bad as my brain makes it out to be, but I'm a catastrophizer, so like, what can I say? Anyway, I need to finish getting ready for work. Also, I'm battling dry skin, and this has never been a problem for me before. And I know a part of it is the tretinoin, but I've gone down. I don't use it as often currently because of how drying it is. I did find out though that this stuff right here, this Cetaphil, which I've never used before, I'm allergic to it. What? This lightweight lotion that has glycerin, vitamin B3 and B5, I'm allergic to it. It was real bad. My skin felt like it was burning off of my face. Hello. So I just got off work. I came home and kind of like freshened up and changed because we were going bowling. So I want to be as comfortable as possible, but also let the people know what I'm about. Am I even about this dark romance? I don't really read that much dark romance. But the good news is, because of my big reading project that I was talking about earlier today, I was able to read for like 2.5, almost 3 hours today. It was like a little bit over 2.5 hours, and I'm feeling good. And I think I have a good chance of reading the hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes that I have to read before bed. I feel like I can do that. I feel like I can accomplish that. If not, it'll roll over tomorrow and I have to keep weeding tomorrow. It's a good day to weed tomorrow because Saturdays are a little bit lighter at work in general. So it's a good day to continue weeding, and that's a really good opportunity for me to get in some audiobook listening. Speaking of audiobooks, I had talked about how I started A Fate Forged in Fire, which I did start and I'm enjoying. I'm still getting my footing in it, but I've been reading that physically. Was gonna download the audiobook because it was available at my library, but I ended up not wanting to do that. So I downloaded like a bunch of audiobooks because I'm being really indecisive about what I wanted to read. I did not love the narrator for Don't Let the Forest In, so I think I'm gonna hold off on that for a time. So that resulted in me sampling a few audiobooks, and that actually took up the majority of the time that I was reading, and I'm still counting it because I was listening to the audiobooks, okay? I didn't say it had to be one book. But I officially settled on Fireborn. Why can't I remember the name of this? It's a novella, and she is a dragon slayer. She's also a knight, and this is supposed to read like very classic fantasy, and I really love classic fantasy. It's something that really resonates with me. It's why I love Robin Hobb so much, because it has that classic fantasy feel, and this is supposed to be queer, so I'm really excited about that. I didn't get a chance to listen to a ton of the novella. I think I ended up listening to 30 minutes of it, and I'm already really loving the narration. I'm loving the writing style. It does definitely feel like classic fantasy, which is great because that's how it's pitched, but sometimes people will say something feels like classic fantasy and it just doesn't. But to me, it definitely has that like Knights of the Round Table vibe a little bit, but also she's a dragon slayer, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out because there's this dragon hoarding a weapon that she thinks is rightfully hers, so she's going on an adventure to slay this dragon, and I'm curious if there's actually going to be dragon slaying in here. That's not my favorite thing because I love a dragon in a story, but like when the dragon is a part of the story in a more significant way than some knight trying to slay the dragon, but that's like also a classic tale of a knight trying to slay a dragon. So can I complain? No. But I have grown to love dragons in books not being slayed, you know what I mean? But I am really enjoying the narration style, and the audiobook is fantastic. I'll likely finish that tomorrow, and the duology is finished. I think the second book recently came out, so if I like it enough, I'll probably just grab the second book from the library because it was also available when I went to check it out. It's actually funny because I thought I would be reading like many different things, and I'm thinking I should probably jump back into the Legends of Thesmar world soon because I'm afraid I'm gonna get too far away from it again. So I think I'm gonna grab the second Legend of Thesmar book on Hoopla because it's on my Hoopla, which is like a library audiobook and ebook service. So I think I'm gonna grab that. I think that's gonna be my TBR for the rest of the weekend because I don't foresee myself really reading too much else. I thought that I would in this challenge. When I say out loud reading for 4 to 5 hours a day, I think to myself, wow, I could get through so many books. But the reality is I listen to a lot of fantasy and I read a lot of fantasy, and those books are between like 14 to 20 something, sometimes 30 something hours. Of course I'm not gonna get through a lot of stuff.
Where did the time go? How do we move so far away? Holding on, how much can we both take when love is an echo? I can't hear what you're saying when love is an echo. I can't hear what you're saying. Strong lessons burn brighter, that makes us two fighters. And what I'm asking tonight is, could we get back to where we started?
What? What's your phone?
Oh, hello. I figured that there would be a day out of this challenge where I did not read at all. And today is that day. I did kind of read. I did. There was like maybe 30 minutes of my day when I read, and it was probably when I was driving to work listening to my audiobook. But you know, you guys voted. You voted, and today I was technically supposed to read for 4 hours because that's what won. And I did not, and I will not be reading for 4 hours today. There is a world in which I could stay up and read for 4 hours, but I have been socializing. I socialized yesterday with a couple of my friends. We went bowling, we had dinner. It was a really, really fun time, but we were out till like 10:30, 11, and I had to be up this morning for work. And then today after work, we went to Christini's little birthday party. Christine's birthday was yesterday and she was celebrating today, so I went after work to celebrate with them, and we were there for like 2 or 3 hours, and now it is like 9, and I literally cannot think of anything that I want to do less than force myself to read. I mean, I want to read, but I want to play Baldur's Gate more than I want to read, and I'm gonna let that win. So today is a wash. I have, if we're being generous, 3 hours and 30 minutes to roll over into tomorrow, which is Sunday. But the good thing is that is my first day off. That's my Saturday. And the only thing that we have planned for tomorrow is Crafternoon on my Patreon. So I'm gonna do that for about an hour and a half, and then I will get into the reading because I don't really have a lot of plans. I might go to the bookstore and pick up The Night and the Moth, you know, if I'm feeling wild. If I'm feeling wild and invigorated to go to the bookstore, I will probably go to the bookstore and get that. Although I've said it time and time again, and I'm gonna keep saying it because I'm manifesting it, I'm gonna be an ebook girl. I'm gonna be an ebook girl, and I'm gonna get my trophies, which in theory, that is what happened because I got The Night and the Moth as an ALC. Not that that's an ebook, that's not an ebook, but I'm getting my trophy. I didn't buy it before I read it. And I almost did because the copy at Barnes & Noble is gorgeous. She is stunning. Stunning. I love her. Love her. God bless. God bless some of these special editions. Some of you special editions, you need to watch out because what are you about? What are you about? What are some of those sprayed edges? If I have to see another piss yellow sprayed edge, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. Also, I'm not saying this always is the case, but sprayed edges on a paperback, illegal. That's illegal. Why are we doing that? It doesn't look good most of the time. I can admit when one looks really good. I can. I will say that like the Evocations book, the paperback one, those sprayed edges are making points. They're making dollars and cents. But most of the time, can we be serious? Can we be serious for a second? What are we doing? One thing I will say though is the little 30 minutes of my day that I did dedicate to reading. I was reading The Fireborn Blade because that is the title. I don't know what it is lately. Again, I think it goes back to my attention span and why I'm trying to do this challenge even though she's failing. I just realized something. Did I even finish? Wait, I need to check the records because I don't even know. Was I also supposed to have another hour rolling over into this day, meaning that I have 4.5 hours that have to roll over into Saturday? Did I forget about that? We'll get back to the Fireborn Blade in a second. Okay, well, I have an extra hour that needs to roll over because I, in fact, did not come home after bowling and read. I in fact did not do that. So we actually have 4.5 hours rolling over to tomorrow. What a great day. What a great day. Hopefully you guys did not continue the trend of 4 hours. Otherwise that's gonna suck butt. That's gonna suck major butt. Anyway, the half an hour that I dedicated to the Fireborn Blade, I really love the writing. I really, really love the writing. It's very classic fantasy. I think that it's marketed itself very well. And I'm really loving a Lady Night moment. Lady Nights are really doing it for me. Happy Pride, everyone. Good morning. It's like 9:30. I'm setting up for Crafternoon for Patreon, but I think it's time to see what y'all voted for the last day of this challenge. I'm nervous. Okay, so you could have voted on 2, 3, or 5 hours. And remember, just remember that I have 4.5 hours rolling over today. Oh my God, thank you. Praise Jesus. You voted for 2 hours. You voted for 2 hours, which means that I have 6.5 hours to read today, which is pretty doable because I have cramps and I don't feel like doing anything today, so I will be laying around. Although Baldur's Gate is really calling me, so I think what I'm gonna do is like try to use the reward system where when I read an hour and a half, I can then play like 30 minutes to 40 minutes of Baldur's Gate and then get back into it. I think that could be most of my day. But anyway, we're gonna be starting Crafternoon soon. I'm going to be putting all of my Ohuhu markers away in this bamboo case from Ohuhu as well. And I'm going to be coloring. One of the new things that I've been doing recently is when I'm waiting for something, because I have like work from home days, but also I do stream a lot on my Patreon, or I'm just like at my desk doing whatever, I'll just color like half a page or just a section of a page in a coloring book and then come back to it at a different point. Like when I'm waiting for something, instead of scrolling on my phone, I actually start to color. And it probably would have organically happened within this challenge anyway, because that's just what I've been doing. And I thought that I would have more time at home this week. I didn't realize that I had so many plans because I'm so popular. But yeah, I find that like having that little moment of just coloring something real quickly, no pressure to color good, no pressure to like color the entire page. It's really been nice. But today, I'm gonna try to color a few pages. We normally go for like an hour to an hour and a half. Sometimes we've gone longer, you know, but today I'm not feeling my best and I really need to get to reading. So we'll probably go for like an hour and hopefully I can color a few pages at that point. One thing with coloring that I'm really trying to do is like get out of my head about color choices. I just need to be okay with the colors. I just need to be okay. It's definitive, it's happening, it's on the page. I have to deal with it. So we just finished Crafternoon, which I always love Crafternoon. And it was especially fun because I was using all of my new Ohuhu products. So last year sometime I decided to get back into coloring. And one of the things that I've never really done before is used alcohol markers. So I bought myself the 48 pack of the Ohuhu markers and I've been loving them. I'm not the best at alcohol markers, still kind of teaching myself, but I do feel like it's beginner friendly. I'm not the best with the blending yet, but I feel otherwise they're very, very easy to use. So I was really, really excited when they reached out to work with me because I've actually loved their products for the last year and I always see wonderful things about Ohuhu in general. Very affordable, very beginner friendly. Like I said, I've never really been an alcohol marker girl. I've used just regular markers or color pencils, or my medium of choice for a long time was just painting, like watercolor and acrylics. But now I'm really getting into the marker game, really getting into the alcohol markers. Like I said, Ohuhu kindly sent me 120 markers, some of their coloring books, which I actually did not know that they had coloring books until recently. And I'm so excited to have these because these are the bleed proof ones. The paper is actually so much thicker. I don't even know if you're gonna be able to tell, but the paper is so much thicker and it's like meant for alcohol markers. So it doesn't bleed like regular paper. It's actually very easy to control the markers with these. I have a small obsession with coloring anything that's like a dessert or bread or fruits. I don't know what's so satisfying about it, but there's something satisfying about it. And I really want to get into doing some of the other trends with coloring where it's like you only use 2 colors, or the whole lampshade lighting situation over the photo where you're putting a lot of shadows and a lot of light in specific areas. I want to try these different trends. I actually have a coloring book where I try out some of the trends that I've seen online. No one's ever gonna see that coloring book. No one is ever gonna see that coloring book. That's just for me. My eyes only. These coloring books especially make me want to be a little more creative. Like I could do something more with the background, or I could whip out my white gel pen and start making some highlights everywhere. Some highlights, some low lights, some mid lights. Honestly, the other thing I really love about this coloring book is the fact that it doesn't bleed to the other side. So there is a picture on the back, you know, utilizing more space in the coloring book, but mainly I just hate having a little paper underneath to catch the bleed. So I'm really enjoying these coloring books. I'm looking forward to trying the other ones as well. And I feel like they really knew my brand. They sent me this little mushroom house one. Okay, yeah, that's my brand. The mushroom one also is very cozy. I think a lot of the drawings in here are extremely cozy. The other thing I really like is that some of these have like more complex backgrounds to color, and some of them it's just very simple, very like stress-free coloring. I sometimes have a hard time when the coloring page is like too complex. I get a little overwhelmed, and color fatigue is a real thing for me. Also, choosing a color palette and sticking to it and not hating it by the end, that's the real challenge of coloring. Also, I can't lie, I am obsessed with how this looks. I did not put them in the best order because I got a little overwhelmed with making them perfect, and I just said, Stephanie, we gotta get them in there. We gotta get them in there. So if you're interested in any of the Ohuhu products, you can go to their website, or you can go on Amazon and search Ohuhu markers or Ohuhu coloring book. And if you want 10% off all of the products, you can use Bookish10 at checkout to get your 10%. That discount code lasts for 6 months. It's in my description box below if you're interested. But genuinely, I love Ohuhu. I'm really excited that they reached out to me, and I can't wait to keep using these coloring books and markers. And as a matter of fact, I was eyeballing a strawberry cake. I either want to do this one or this one next. Like I said, I have an obsession with coloring desserts right now, but this one seems very satisfying. As for reading, nothing has happened. We were just chit-chatting on Crafternoon. We don't really read on Crafternoon. I think other people read while on Crafternoon just to have like the company while they're reading, but I do not. I just color and chit-chat, and some people are on screen with me chit-chatting, and it's a really fun time. I love Crafternoon. Sometimes it lasts for an hour and sometimes it lasts for 3. You never know what you're gonna get. Yeah, so that being said, I really need to crack down on some reading. I don't know how that's gonna go. There's so much happening in LA right now that I don't know how often I'm not going to be on my phone and how well I'm going to pay attention to reading, but I'm going to try. I am probably gonna finish the Fireborn Blade, or I'm gonna start Vows and Ruin, which is the second book in the Legends of Thesmar series, the first one being Blood and Steel. I recently reread that so that I could jump into the rest of the series. I'm feeling that a little more than anything because I'm like familiar with the world. The Fireborn Blade I'm really enjoying. I just find myself getting distracted, and a lot of that is just what's happening in the world currently. So yeah, I'm gonna be really realistic and say I don't think I'm gonna get 6.5 hours of reading done today, but I will try at the very least to get 4 in. And if nothing else, 2 is technically what I was supposed to read today if I weren't rolling over numbers. So that's like my high, mid, and low goal, you know? Yeah, I think I'm gonna color a little bit more and listen to my book, play a little bit of Baldur's Gate, and then come back to like coloring and reading, or just like paying attention to reading, because I am listening to Vows and Ruin on my phone and Fireborn Blade because I don't have physical copies of either. Also, I think I am gonna go to the bookstore a little bit later and get my trophy copy of The Night and the Moth because I can't stop thinking about that book first and foremost. I got her. I got my trophy, and I have read for 4.5 hours, which I think might be my limit. So I've definitely failed today. I know there's more of the day. It's 6:30 and I could read before bed, but I just want to get this video wrapped up. Today has just really sucked. If you don't know what's going on in LA, I mean, check the news, but ICE is raiding LA. It's a clusterfuck. Everything going on in LA just has me really distracted right now. Everything going on in the world has me very distracted. And it's funny that I want to do a challenge like this. It's funny that I did a challenge like this because I feel that a lot of my doom scrolling isn't coming from a place of being addicted to my phone. While partially it is, it definitely is, I do think the other parts of it are me trying to constantly be informed and stay up to date with what's going on in the world. And that's not healthy either. I get that. But I also just want to be informed on what's going on in the world. And sure, I know it doesn't help anyone, me doom scrolling. But again, it's just kind of what happens, and it's kind of where my mind has been at. So that's been happening today while I have read for 4.5 hours, and I really only know that because I've been listening to Vows and Ruins and I'm 50% into it, which means I'm at like a little over 7 hours into the book, and I'm currently listening on 1.75 speed, so it would equate to about 4 hours. Also, I hadn't checked YouTube today, but if you haven't seen it, Sid also just uploaded a video where she read based on how many hours she spends on her phone. Really enjoyed this vlog. It's also like an hour long, so you are being fed, so go check it out. I'll link it down below. But yeah, overall I was having a fun time with this, and then my mood just kind of plummeted. Overall, I think I did all right. I ended up reading the entirety of The Moth and the Night, which I really enjoyed. I read a quarter of A Fate Forged in Fire, which I didn't really have much to say because I still felt like I was getting my bearings into that book. I read probably a quarter, if not a little bit more, of The Fireborn Blade. And lastly, I'm a little over 50% into Vows in Ruin, which is the second book in the Legends of Thesmar series. I will say the first 20% made me feel like maybe I wasn't gonna like this series as much as I thought I was going to. It definitely was rehashing a lot of what happened in the last book, and then the tone felt very juvenile, which I did say when I was talking about Blood and Steel, that the characters read very young, and that persists. That remains to be true throughout the second book, that the characters feel very young. So while the characters read really young, and the first 20% was really showing that to me, once we got a little past the 20% mark, I got my stride in this book and I'm really enjoying it. It is not becoming a new favorite, which is unfortunate, because second books usually really solidify if a series is going to be a new favorite or not. I still think I'm going to move on with the series because I'm so intrigued by the world and the politics. I like the Shadow Wraiths, and I like this reveal that we had at the end of the book, which is the reveal that you can see coming from a mile away, but I like where we're going with it, and I'm interested to see where we're going to keep going with that reveal and like how this will shape our main character and shape the characters around her. I do, and I will forever wish there were more female friendships, especially in this book, because I think that's really lacking. Though I will admit that in Thea's position, she's not really around a lot of women at this point in time, so her having two male best friends isn't out of the ordinary. It doesn't feel like she's trying to be not like other girls, which was a feeling that I had when I first read this book, but I think putting it into perspective, maybe that's not really what's going on, but time will tell. I'm hoping that in 2.5 more books, we'll see more female friendships. So yeah, overall, I do think reading, I did a pretty good job. I think that I got in a lot of reading. While I didn't like finish things, I was working at a bunch of different books. I don't know why I started so many books this time around. I was being very indecisive. I typically don't start a lot of books at once anymore. I used to, and then I realized it overwhelmed me. And now I'm just like a one book kind of girl, but I don't know. I started a lot this week. I'm having a lot of decision fatigue about what books to read. Also, every time Pride comes around, I overwhelm myself with all of the things that I want to read, and then I don't. And I'm like, Pride is all year long, baby. Pride is all year long. In terms of the challenge itself, I'm never doing this again. I'm lying. I would probably do something like this again, but for whatever reason, whenever I put a time limit on what I'm supposed to be doing, I don't do it. It must be the school trauma. Like, school trauma has really got me in a chokehold, and I need to figure that out, because why is it when you give me a time frame for something, I'm like, I can't do that. I can't do that. I think just generally being off my phone is great. I don't need to read the whole time that I'm off my phone. And that is why the one time I did do a challenge, I don't know if I put hours on it. I'll link that video down below because it's been so long since I did it. I don't remember if I put like hours per day that I couldn't be on my phone, or like what my whole goal with that was. But the whole goal of the video was that I had to be productive, and I gave myself like tasks every day, and I had like a checklist of things that I really wanted to get done. And I did it through the course of the week while trying to be off my phone. Oh my God, I was reading Robin Hobb then too. I was like finishing up The Realm of the Elderlings. What a time. So yeah, I think the lesson here is that I don't need to spend the time reading while I'm being off my phone. I could just be off my phone. I could just be off my phone, and I can choose to read. Two things can happen. Two things can happen. You know what's funny is I know this about myself every single time. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this challenge video. What, Stephanie? Just do a fucking reading vlog. Anyway, friends, sorry things got a little dicey at the end, but I appreciate you sticking around. I appreciate you watching this video. I hope that you're having a good week. And if you want to leave anything down below, leave like a clock emoji or a timer emoji, whatever that equates to for you, down below. And I will talk to you next time. Bye, friends.